So I was like, well, why don't you write a book? If you're going to storm a castle, you're not just going to knock on the front door. You're going to surround the castle.
They're looking at this number on the scale, which doesn't necessarily correlate to anything other than it's a number on a scale.
Health and wellness, it's for the most part, you're being treated like a number, not a person. There's all these other aspects to health that no one's really talking about. Where does it all meet together? What's the nucleus of this? For us, it's genetics.
Hi, everybody. This is Dan and Dante. Welcome to Middle Age Mess, the show for people who never have dinner after 5:30 p.m. So today we have Tripp Parks. Tripp, why don't you say hello?
How's it going, guys?
Tripp does a bunch of things. He's got a podcast, he's got a company, he's got websites, he's got training, he's got a lot of good things, all focused on health and wellness of the individual, and realize that as we get into and beyond middle age, health and wellness become a real problem. Tripp, glad to have you on today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be on.
So who are you, Tripp? Give our audience a little idea of where you come from, why you're here, and why you're going to be more interesting than my last guest.
So my name's Tripp Parks. I'm a certified personal trainer, nutritionist, strength and conditioning specialist, genetic-based program designer, elite trainer. I own a company called Ascend Performance Training. I have a book called Health Profiling This Out. I have some events going on and whatnot, but how I got here was my mom had a stroke in 2022 that turned into dementia. I had to go home and take care of her. She was incontinent. I'd been in fitness for my whole life, but going back home, taking care of her. And I just saw so many other people, especially, older people having tons of issues, cancer, cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, just all these different things, right? And I was like, there's got to be a better way to approach this. I mean, when I was in high school, the food pyramid got flipped upside down.
I think the food pyramid became like a rectangle, man. Nobody knows what happened to that food pyramid. We were supposed to eat bread our whole lives, right? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, 100%. And they just released a new one out that says Lucky Charms is healthier than ground beef.
You know what? I got to tell you, so I'm an old man. I'm 55. That's like 40 years older than you. And so I remember a lot of these things. And I got to tell you, I checked out of government issued health information probably 30 years ago for that exact reason. I mean, they've been giving us different information, conflicting information. Sun was good, then sun was bad. Now sun's good again. I mean, I don't think that anybody really has any clue what's going on anymore. Why do you?
Well, here's the thing is we're living like in an extremist society, and that's, politics, extreme left, extreme right, diet, extreme left, extreme right. We're living in extreme environments. One day egg yolk is good for you. The next day it's bad for you. What no one's really teaching is, number one, is moderation, right? Moderation as well as using quantitative science. So our approach to this and how we do things different is we use genetic testing, blood work, biomechanical assessment, or movement functionality, and then family medical history to come up with our programs. And that way we're understanding exactly who the individual is and understanding their certain needs. And everyone's got different goals too, right? So what we want to do is we wanted to individualize and standardize the wellness industry.
That's interesting. I went to a lab that did something very similar. It was called Stark Labs. I don't know if they're a competitor of yours or not. They did something very similar to me in terms of they did all these different tests and blood work, and they put me through this crazy machine, which showed exactly where on my body was all the fat, which was 100% of it. And they did something very similar. So let's assume I'm your patient. I walk in today. Walk me through the process of what you guys do to individualize the program.
So the first step is we do a consult, right? We want to understand who this individual is, understand their needs, their goals, their past history. After we get that, what we do is we get a genetic test, this little sample test. They're all saliva based. Oh, right. Shit.
That's okay. I'll edit out that shit.
You can leave it in there. I love it. That's what we start with, a genetic test, right? That's our blueprint to who we are. And our genetic tests that we use are going to cover things like cancer risk, cardiovascular risk, immune system risk, optimizing your diet, supplementation, what workout works best for you, how do I recover? And one of the big things we're getting into too and breaking into sports is the injury mitigation. I could tell through a biomechanical assessment and your genetic test if you're going to get injured somewhere. There's a certain allele called COL1A5 that's directly correlated with tendinopathy, Achilles tears, ACL tears. So we're taking the guesswork out of it, right? Then the second step what we do is blood work. With the blood work, we're able to find out, hey, do you have low vitamin B? All right, I'm going to go to your genetic test and cross-reference this and see if you have a low vitamin B metabolism, because you might need more vitamin B than somebody else. We're all different. Then when we add the biomechanical assessment, understanding our certain injury for risk, understanding how our body moves, as well as how we need to recover, then we're actually building a program that really is truly individualized. That's going to work for you.
And the
Right.
program that you have is, I imagine it's the 360 degrees. It's food, it's nutrition, it's exercise, it's, how many times you leave your house a day. It's everything, right?
100%. And the reason being is too, is like, if you're gonna storm a castle with things like, you're not just gonna knock on the front door, you're gonna surround the castle. And that's the problem we're facing. If you go to a personal trainer with a problem, they're going to write you a workout program. Go to a nutritionist, they write you a diet program. That's great. That's fine, but you're missing out on everything else that makes you healthy. What about your sleep? What about hormone levels? There's all these other aspects to health that no one's really talking about. And why, and where does it all meet together? What's the nucleus of this? And it's for us, it's genetics. It's our differences.
Unless you went to school for 100 years, I'm guessing you have a team of people who are like looking at each different angle of these, or is it all you?
Mostly me.
I mean, the
I cover.
glasses make you look pretty smart, I got to say, but I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot of big words you came up with, Tripp. A lot of big words.
Listen. If you would have told me 12 years ago that I'd be talking like this, I would have told you to F off.
Right. I got it. I got it.
But yeah, I mean, really, it's there's a lot of great programs and a lot of good learning education now, like for all these different things. I'm certified through the ISSA, which if anyone is interested in getting certified in these kind of things, they do all online classes. I was able to take most of my classes while I was taking care of my mom.
Yeah.
So, she takes a nap, I'm doing some classwork. She takes a nap, I'm writing the book. So it was really honestly kind of good for me while I was taking care of her to take that time to try to better what I was doing.
Look, if a guy like me comes in, I have a lot of doctors, I got a lot of insurance, I got a lot of resources, right? And if I'm looking for like an entire body makeover program that you're going to put together, why would I trust you? I mean, be honest, like
Yeah.
this Stark place I went to, I probably shouldn't mention your competitors too many times, but like, I mean, they gave me to 5 different people. So you doing it by yourself, how does that, benefit a guy like me?
One of the big things is understanding the full problem, right? When you're breaking it apart like that, other individuals might not understand. Like, listen, like let's say you go to the nutritionist for the Stark Labs, right? You go to the nutritionist, and then you go to me, the geneticist, and I found out that you have a poor response to lipids and carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, right? That's going to affect how the workout's going. That's going to affect how the sleep's going. It's going to affect how the goal's going. With us, with me at least, I'm certified all over the place in all these different aspects to make sure I can build an entire wellness program that has all these different functionalities. So for us, like, it really is about understanding the individual in a deeper context. Health and wellness, it's for the most part, you're being treated like a number, not a person.
Look, that's for sure true. And I do like the idea of having a wellness quarterback, right? Somebody who
Yeah.
understands the different facets of the program. Okay, so when you put together the program, where are you located? Where in the United States, right?
Denver, Colorado.
Okay. Do you do this just in Denver, or is this for all over the country?
All over the country. We got clients all over the place. We're breaking into the UK right now, so we can do this anywhere.
Well, I live in Los Angeles. How would it work for me?
So we have our consult. You purchase the program. We mail you your genetic test. We mail that back out to our genetic doctors that come up with the app and all the genetic information. I would send you out to Quest Labs or another lab to pull your blood. And this is all in about a 6-week window, right? So get your blood work done. I send an email out about your family medical history. You fill that out, and then we set up a virtual biomechanical assessment where I found out your functionality. And then in 6 weeks, we get your results back for your test. I take all that information and put it together and send it back out to you.
And do you hook us up with a gym? Are you affiliated with gyms all over the country, or it's like you send us a barbell and say good luck?
Just give you some bands and wish you the best of
Yeah,
luck.
it's been great. It's been a great 6 weeks. Thanks for your help.
Well, we'll help facilitate with that too. If you're like, if you, let's say you don't go to a gym, we'll help you gym shop with that. Let's say you don't have a massage therapist, chiropractor, you don't have any of that. We'll help facilitate with that. If you have your own gym, we have you go to that gym, have that program done, and then as well as, like, let's say you want to work with a nutritionist or a personal trainer in your area. You just hand that program off to them and they work with you.
Got it. Okay, so let's talk old men and old women. I mean, the show is called Middle-Aged Mess, so let's talk about the mess that we are. What are the things that you find most often with your middle-aged clientele? What's going wrong with us, and how do you fix it?
So there's a few things. One of the biggest things is dealing with hormones, right? So men, we go through andropause just like women go through menopause. right? So when we get our blood work back, I check on hormones. That's one of the biggest things. If we can't get our hormones in balance, then we're not going to get to our goals. If that's not working. Secondly, is a lot of people think they're too old to do it, right? I'm too old. I'm too hurt. I'm too this and that, and it's never too late.
Well, I've lost all my testosterone anyway, so I mean, who cares at this point, right? Does it matter?
Yeah. But there's natural ways and other medical ways to make sure that to boost those levels back up to a normal rate, making sure that you're sleeping better, making sure that your immune system's up, making sure that you're able to burn fat, build lean muscles. So for us, there's never like a dead end road for this, right? Like, hey, my testosterone's in the tube. What can I do? It's like, well, we can get you on tribulus. We can do TRT. We can have some foods that help produce testosterone more effectively. So there's always ways around it.
And how does the hormonal imbalance or just the general problems you see with middle agers, how do they manifest themselves? What are you seeing in older Americans that need help?
One of the big things is irritability, right?
Well, if that's the case, let me tell you, I'm your best candidate of all time.
Well, yeah, you see a lot of people with short fuses. You see people that are struggling with sleep. You see fatigue, mind fog. You see lack of motivation, lack of sex drive, lack of the ability to maintain a healthy weight. So it affects every single realm of what we do, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was practically an autobiography for me right there, that last 15 seconds. But it's weird, though. It is true, though. Like, and look, I'm 55 years old. I'm actually in semi-okay shape, to be honest with you. But it is amazing how, like, these little things that are part of your life that you don't think of in terms of maybe your physical, like sleeping. Sleeping is a terrible problem for a lot of me and a lot of my friends. Things that, and like you said, irritability, they're things that, like, your emotions that you don't think are part of your overall physical well-being. Like, I must be depressed if I'm here. The truth is, as you're saying, it's hormones, it's exercise, it's the way your metabolism is running. I mean, there's a bunch of different physical ways that can actually be addressed by the things you're talking about, right?
Oh, 100%, 100%. And again, it's not just it's not just looking at this through one perspective too. We've got to take a zoom out and look at health differently. What's my hormones like? What's my sleep like? How's my training? What's my diet? What's my supplementation look like? All these different things. And again, like, no one's putting all this shit together. And it's just infuriates me because there's so much else to health.
Yeah, there's a lot of data available now that wasn't in the past that's having a big effect on the way you guys are doing things. Give me a case study. Give me your most successful client.
So I started working with this girl. Her name's Leslie. She's turned into be a very close friend of mine. When I first met her, she's heavy set. Always kind of big, and tried every single different kind of fad diet, workout, everything she could really try. And I could just see the frustration on her face when I met about her really wanting to get healthy. And I was like, listen, let's go ahead and find out your genetics. Let's get your blood work done. Let's actually figure out what's going on. Once we got her on a program and got her genetics back, she had an extreme risk for becoming overweight. Right. So she had a bigger uphill battle than other people are telling her. It's like, no, if you just do this, you'll look like this or that. It's like, no, she's different. So we have to approach this differently.
So this was something you found in her blood work and her genetics.
Yes. Yeah. She had an extreme predisposition to become obese. Right. So she's already got to battle that. But, once we got that test back and I showed it to her, it's like, listen, like, you're going to have a harder time than other people. That's just your case. And, she cried about it because everyone's been telling her one thing and no one's actually told her that she's just a little different than everybody else. And with that knowledge, we were able to, get her on a different kind of workout program that was benefit for her, a better nutrition program. We could split her macros the right way, exactly the way she needs it. And literally in a month, she lost 12 pounds of fat, 3% of her BMI, and gained five pounds of muscle in a month.
It's amazing.
She wanted to lose a certain amount of weight. And I was like, I want you to lose fat, not lean mass. When we're talking about losing weight, it infuriates me that people use it as a measurement of health.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's interesting too, because look, I've always been like, my BMI is ridiculous. It always has been. And it doesn't matter how good I look or how thin I am, my BMI is just always, off the charts. I mean, I'm basically, I'm on my 600-pound life if you look at my BMI. So I think it's a really bad indicator that the entire world is now using that really kind of screws with people's heads. They're looking at this number on the scale, which doesn't necessarily correlate to anything other than it's a number on a scale.
It's really about, how I look. It's aesthetic, right? It's like, if I lose 20 pounds, I'll look great. It's like, well, if you lose 20 pounds of muscle, you're going to look like ass. right?
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? So it's really about breaking that body composition down and breaking down the blood work and breaking down quantitative information that's going to make sense about what makes someone healthy. And I want to change the narrative of that. It's just absolutely ridiculous that we use like, listen, I want to lose, I have people coming all the time. It's like, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm like, why do you want to lose 20 pounds? And where is this coming from? And a lot of it's from social media and these email campaigns and all this other crap that's, really murking the waters about what is health. I think we gotta have to ask that question a little deeper.
I got to say, social media and Photoshop and now AI have destroyed our universe. As an older guy who doesn't use social media that much, and I don't play around with filters and all stuff, it's amazing how amazing the whole world looks on social media. And that's what just kind of permeates your head. I mean, whether you're an older person or younger, I mean, you see all these pictures of these people, perfect people with perfect bodies and perfect smiles and perfect everything. And you go, I want to get like that, but it's so unrealistic. There's so few people who really do have that look in real life.
You're 100% right. It's unrealistic expectations for what health is. Right. And a lot of these people are doing that look these incredibly good. They get plastic surgery. They're doing other things, like steroids and other things that are getting them to that point and then making you think if you buy their programs, you're going to look like that too. We have to take a realistic approach to this and really understand what's going on with us and what we can do about it. Right. And that's where we need to start is, again, thinking about what health is and not about aesthetics.
And what's your typical program length? How long are you setting people up for before they can reach their reasonable goals?
Well, it depends per person. Everyone's got different goals and different baggage and different kind of things they're going through. If someone comes in at 400 pounds and wants to be 180, it's going to take a little longer. We're talking about years and years and years and years of just not taking care of your body. But someone comes in that's decently fit, say 45 years old, wants to lose 5 pounds of fat and start doing a marathon again. I could probably get you healthy. I probably get you where you want to go in about 3 to 6 months. It really depends per individual.
Let's talk about your book.
Yeah. So that was just something I was kind of doing. When my mom was sleeping, I couldn't really make noise. I couldn't really do anything. So I was like, well, why don't you write a fucking book?
I like that. Look, the same thing happened to me in 2001. Sometimes you just got to write a fucking book.
Well, yeah. And the funny thing was, as I was building this book, I didn't know what the hell I was writing, to be honest. I was just writing to write. I didn't really have kind of an end goal for this book, but I was writing different things about genetics and what workouts are and nutrition. Earlier this year in March, I was watching this show about the FBI or whatnot, and when they're hunting serial killers, they profile, right? They want to know everything, their mentality, their traits, where they grew up, their friends, their family. They want to know every fucking thing about these people they can to try to get in their heads. So I was sitting there, I was like, that's my book.
Totally.
I want to call it health profiling. I want to understand everything that's going on with these people and come up with a program based off of that, as well as educate people that there are other realms and other facets of fitness, not just working out, not just eating right. Right. So that's kind of how the book came all together, was trying to teach people a new perspective about wellness.
But let me ask you, so you really look, the first thing you said was moderation, right? And I think moderation is pretty universal. I don't care who you're talking to, living your life in moderation, eating in moderation is always a goal. And then I'm also guessing that your programs include nutrition, your programs include exercise, things that are available in every single program you go to, no matter where you are, in the country or the world. What specifically, and you've kind of talked about it a little bit, but tell me a little bit more about how the way you do your genetic testing and all the other factors you take into account, how do they modify the way you put together the health and exercise program?
So a really good example is I'm seeing this a lot of white females right now, is a fat burning variant missing called RS12678919. I know it's a mouthful, but this person who's missing this fat burning variant could do 7 hours worth of cardio versus someone who does have it 1 hour and still not burn the same amount of fat. So when I'm building a program for, let's say, someone missing this fat burning variant, I'm not going to pack a whole bunch of cardio into it if they're trying to lose fat. The way we program around that is we up the reps, we shorten in between the time between sets, and try to get a cardio-like aspect from the workouts while doing strength training to make sure we're hitting that goal. So really the difference between us and everybody else when we're building this is tailoring this to the person based off their DNA. So what's going to work for somebody might not work for somebody else. And the same thing with like supplementation. When I get your blood work back, you got low vitamin B, you're already taking a vitamin B supplement, and I see in your genetics that your predisposition or likelihood of vitamin B metabolism is low, then I need to add more vitamin B into your diet than somebody else. Maybe that recommended dose isn't the right one for you that's on the bottle. Maybe you need more. Maybe you need less. But until we know what's going on in your body and understanding that, you really can't program for someone. I do believe that it's going to, even if you do pull a random program offline and do it, it's going to help you to a certain point, but it's not tailored to you and your needs.
And if I read your book, am I going to be able to walk myself through any of that stuff?
I think you could, man. I try to make this as easy for everyone to understand as I possibly could, because I think people do overcomplicate this to make them sound smart.
Right. Well, there's an epidemic of people trying to sound smart in this country these days, fortunately. Let's talk about your podcast for a minute. Health or High Water, great name. Almost as good as Middle Age Mess, right in the same ballpark.
I love your guys' name, by the way. It's honestly awesome. We have doctors on, athletes, clients come on, and we just have a discussion about health and wellness, about their field or whatnot. It's for us, it's really about the storytelling aspect. How'd you get to where you are? What's next? Those kind of things. And we try to almost do like an FDR kind of fireside chat way of doing it. It's like we want to talk to the audience, not at them.
Right.
Right. So we've been doing that for since April now. We've been doing quite a while now, and it's been going really well for us. It's honestly, podcasting is one of the funnest things you can do.
Yeah.
I'm sure you love the conversations and learning and all the stuff that comes with it.
Yeah. I mean, same thing. Look, I started as a hobby. I just thought it'd be fun. And then I started buying cameras, and I haven't been able to stop. I've got like 50 of them here now. I don't even know what most of them are going to be used for. Is that something you think you'll carry on for a long time? I mean, is podcasting part of your whole enterprise?
I think we have to keep doing it. I really truly believe that in an age of disinformation, that providing real information back is, if you're not doing it, it's a travesty. Right. So it's definitely part of who we are, the podcasting, as well as it's just so great to network too. I love having people on. I love meeting them, and, maybe a partnership happens, or maybe, you get a new friend or something like that. Maybe you learn something new. Maybe you have a speaking event. I don't know. I do think it's just so necessary, especially when you're starting a business, to do, things like podcasting, blog, trying to write a book. Those things are just so important to building who you are.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I really love the idea of individualizing these programs. Because look, I've been working out I first went to the gym, I think I was 14 years old, right? I mean, it's over 40 years. And I can't tell you how many programs over those decades I've had of people who knew me or didn't know me or kind of know me or knew a little bit and not too much. And what I found over the years, like I said earlier, is that you kind of get the same things thrown at you over again. And even if they work, if they don't work, it just doesn't really help. And for you to be taking technology and the genetic testing and all these other, factors look, we know nobody was using in the gym. I mean, certainly maybe some doctors were, but by combining all of these different factors into one program and creating like a whole life system of living, I think it's awesome. I think it's exciting.
Well, thanks so much. That's our goal. Is I don't want anyone to have to suffer through what I went through with my mom. I want to see cancer risk go down. I want to see kids stop getting hurt in sports as much as they are, killing the industry. I want to stop seeing, middle-aged and older people think that they don't have a way out. When we're building this, man, I want to, build something positive, momentum driving, and making sure that we're making, a huge impact. And, impact is the right word for this because of the epidemic we're going through. Right. I mean, no one knows what the health is. They don't know how to get fit. There's all these different people telling you 7 different things. And it's just a fucking mess.
Well, I think that describes pretty much all of our society right now. Right. I mean, I wish it was just health and wellness. Then we'd be doing pretty well. All right. Where do people get in touch with you, Tripp, if they want to use your services?
Yeah, so you can go to ascendperformancetraining.com for our website if you guys are interested in our programs. My book is available on Amazon and Kindle. You can also find us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Ascend Performance Training. Our podcast is everywhere that podcasts are hosted, Spotify, YouTube, everywhere you can find that. And then if you actually want to come see us in our physical location, we're located in Montclair, Denver, 1472 Jersey Street, Denver, Colorado.
Awesome, Tripp. It's a great message. It's an inspirational message. I think it's a message that people really need to hear, and certainly, my audience that's living through a lot of transitions and changes and not really understanding what's happening with their body, to get a guy like you who can really dig into, all the layers of the onion and figure it out is going to be very helpful.
Well, thank you so much. I want to provide value back to my community. This is what I really believe is going to change things.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. That's been another episode of Middle Age Mess. Give me a like, give me a follow, give me a subscribe. Just tell me how good looking I am. All that stuff is appreciated. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.